All right, let's go. Rob, what a week. Week 9's in the books.
Jules, that was crazy, dude. You ready to get into it?
Before we jump in, if everyone's loving these reaction videos, drop a like. Give us a comment. Tell us what we can do better. And we'll go from there because we're enjoying doing these reaction videos because it keeps us ready for when we have to go on our shows.
Tune in on Thursday for some bonus content. And don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, Jules, you ready to break down week 9?
Let's do it. Let's start it off with an easy one. We got to start it off with the Pats take, right? Pats eke out a close one. What are your first thoughts?
My first thoughts are, a win is a win. No doubt about that. You'll take any win in the NFL. It's so hard to get a win. It doesn't matter if you're playing a not so good team, and it's just even harder to win versus a good team. The Atlanta Falcons, that's who they face. That's who their opponent was. You actually never know what you're going to get
1,000%.
With the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they're all over the place. They got so much skill on the offensive side of the ball. They got a pretty solid defense, but their offense is so up and down. And they got guys that are all first rounders, from the tight end to the wide receiver to the quarterback to the running back. But you don't know what they're going to put out on the field. You don't know what product you're going to get. And it seemed like they got the product of Drake London here this game, who just showed that his freak athleticism can take over a game at any time. But it's such a solid win for the Patriots. Again, I don't care how they won it. Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons missed an extra point, but a win is a win. And it was a very solid win as well. And they started hot. The Patriots started hot. Usually they close the game in the third, fourth quarter. Well, they closed the game because they started hot this time.
Yeah, it was a good experience to go through. Look, they turned the ball over 2 times. They're terrible. I don't think did very well on third down, but made plays when the team needed plays to be made. They've been playing at a high level for 5 weeks coming into this game. This is their 6th game in this winning streak. That's hard to sustain, especially as a new unit together. It's hard to sustain that level. I mean, we had shitty games. Tom had a shitty game every once in a while. I had a shitty game. Guys just, the ebbs and flows of a season. That's how it goes. And for a shitty game, Drake May still, he had the turnover, the fumble, he had the pick, but he also had, elite situational runs. He had 2 touchdown passes. The offense still feels rhythmic, even though they slowed down in the second half. That's going to be expected. Like you said, Robbie, this Atlanta Falcons team, they're so fucking dangerous because you don't know what you're going to get on the field. They got Bijan Robinson, which the Patriots bottled them up. And the Patriots had a great plan on third down on defense. I think they went they only had 1 for 9. The Falcons, a lot of their points came from the mistakes the Patriots made. So, look, a win in the NFL is a freaking win. An ugly win is better than a pretty loss. I used to say that all the time. And anytime you can go into the next week with the amount of examples they have to coach up and still have a win in the category, that's going to be great for their development as a team.
Big time. And what's worrying about the Patriots is just protecting Drake May. I mean, he was sacked by Myles Garrett last week 5 times. I'm not sure how many sacks they had as a team, the Cleveland Browns, but Myles Garrett alone had 5 sacks. Now he was sacked 7 times. Versus the Atlanta Falcons. So that's a minimum of 12 sacks the last 2 games. I mean, that could definitely catch up in the future if you keep letting Drake May get sacked like that. And it may hurt his confidence. I mean, so far it hasn't. That's what's making him so incredible. Even getting sacked,
he can get hurt.
He gets back up. And exactly, you need to protect him because for his confidence, and also you got to keep him clean. You don't want your quarterback banged up, possibly, falling to the ground and not being able to protect himself because he doesn't see a defender coming. So then, he injures a limb or bends back a finger, whatever it is, and that can throw off your whole routine of throwing the ball. So protect Drake May. They just got to figure out the offensive line with protections in the pass game big time.
Yeah, and that's a team thing, because some of the sacks could be coming from Drake. Some of the sacks could be coming from the line. You know what I mean? That's such a team.
It could be coming from the offensive line.
It's not just
It could be the coaching there, the back coaching. There's so many different variables. You're right about that. They got to tighten it up, come together as a team, figure out why he's getting sacked so much. Yes, Jules, that is so true. It's when you're getting sacks, when your quarterback's getting sacked, that's a great point you just made, brother, is that it's a team thing in that category most of the time.
It's an offensive unit, because it could be confidence in, the first sack could be on the line. The second sack could be on the quarterback who's messed up mentally because of the first sack and he steps wrong direction and then he gets sacked on that. The third time, the hot route didn't break, so the quarterback's sitting there and he gets,
So that was on the wide receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's so many reasons, but whatever that is, they got to tighten it up because they're getting some freaking juice right now. Winning is contagious. The more you win, the more you start to feel it. You start to enjoy the preparation. You start to go into practice excited. Early in our career when we were getting on those teams, 13, 14, we're 12, 11. When you start getting in that rhythm, that moment, that the rhythm of prep, enjoying. All right, we had some fuck ups here. Let's go fix them. All right. And then we got some new wrinkles that we're going to put in. These next 3-4 weeks, this is a time of the year where it starts to fucking separate the men from the boys. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how they do going into it.
All right.
How about Cardi B?
One out. Cardi B, she was looking fire next to RKK. The one thing about RKK, I can't believe he didn't whip out any dance moves. The last time I saw RKK, unless if I missed the dance moves, the last time I saw him, he was on stage with Cardi B, and she got RKK out in that rhythm. She brought the young buck out in him, and he was doing some moves on stage. So I was hoping to see RKK break it down a little bit. But Cardi B with that stanky dance move, that shit is fun. Like really, really funny. That was a well played move. I bet the New England crowd ate that up big time. Oh, there he is. See, that was the last time I saw him. Yeah, breaking it down. I love when RKK goes out there and acts like a young buck, like he's wilding out like back in the day, like we were, Jules, when we were in our 20s and young 30s, all that good stuff.
Age ain't nothing but a number to RKK. He's still living young, baby. Let's move on, Robbie. Let's move on. Good week for the Pats. It's big week. Who do they have this week? The Buccaneers. That's a big
Tampa
game.
As well.
Buccaneers off a bye. Getting healthy. Buccaneers off a bye and a loss, I think. They lost last. You know what I mean? So, hey, this is going to be a tough test. Buccaneers off a bye, off a loss in Tampa with warm weather.
Oh. Wait, Jules, is this the Gronk Bowl? Pats versus Bucks? Hey, I'm just going to stay out of this one. No predictions coming from me. Jules, I'm going to let you do all that. I'm just going to sit back, relax, and just hope for a great football game that I can enjoy.
Wait. Last week, it was like fucking blowout central, right? Everyone's like, the favors, this, NFL's broke, sucks. Well, the underdogs came through this week. How about the underdogs,
sure did.
Robbie? Which was your favorite?
They had their
underdog?
day today. I mean, we had the Steelers upsetting the Indianapolis Colts, but I don't really look at that as an upset, even though it is an upset. I mean, we got the Minnesota Vikings over the Detroit Lions, and yes, I look at that one. That's an upset because the Detroit Lions have been playing a lot, putting a product on the field that's been a lot higher than the Minnesota Vikings all year. So I do consider that an upset. And then you got the Panthers. This is the biggest upset of the week by far, upsetting the Green Bay Packers. And let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, I didn't really see this one coming, but at the same time, I'm not surprised because the Pittsburgh Steelers have what they need in order to compete against any team in the NFL. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is playing at a high level. I really like what he's doing in his 40s. He's proving that, he's not the reason why the Steelers are losing games. He's actually the reason why the Steelers are winning games and putting them in situations to win games every single week. It's been their defense that has been iffy, and their special teams. It hasn't been playing great, and they're known for their defense. And finally, they put it all together, all three phases of the game, defense, special teams, and offense. And that's what makes the Pittsburgh Steelers scary, is when they come together as a team and play together like that as a team. And that's why I'm not surprised, because we've been waiting for their defense to step up, and they finally did on the biggest stage versus the hot Indianapolis Colts. It kind of put them back on earth, these Colts, which a lot of people like to see in the NFL, because, everyone's not Colts fans. And, it kind of brings the table of teams, being able to vie for winning their division, because the Colts lost. Now everyone's still kind of even, everything's up for grabs still, with these underdogs beating, these teams that we're not supposed to lose.
Yeah, I think this is a case of Colts coming back down to earth, and the Steelers, richest defense in the world, getting 6 takeaways. Playing the way that we were really all expecting them to play this way, right?
We've been waiting. Actually, we've been expecting them to play this way since the beginning. I'm telling you, my Pittsburgh Steeler friends, because I went to high school in my senior year in Pittsburgh, Jules. Obviously, you know that, and I still got friends there. And I'm talking like they've been flipping out about their defense not playing well. Like they're furious. Like they're so proud of Aaron Rodgers and the offense, and they're like, our effing defense is letting us down this year. And now that they just dominated last week, they're so proud of what the Steelers just did. And the 6 turnovers kind of made up, for the whole season. If they can continue that from here on out, they're going to be a hot team. They're going to be a tough team to beat.
1,000%. This was great for their team to see. They needed to see this as a team, because they're built through their defense. That's where all the money's at, and you got to see your dividends on your investment. And it was one of those TJ Watt sack fumble games. I like that Wilson kid, the safety. He had a couple big plays where he batted the ball, they intercepted. And the ability to, this was the first time they stopped the run. They stopped the run against the best run team. Like they haven't been able to stop the run all year long. And then out of nowhere, they manhandled them. They stopped. I mean, they held, Jonathan Taylor had 53 yards, something like that. Like that's how you beat the Colts, and the offense made enough plays and didn't make a bunch of mistakes. I like that big ass tight end, number 80, Washington. Is it Washington? He's like
Darnell
300
Washington.
pounds.
Oh my gosh, 300 pounds, 6'7", I think possibly 6'8", man. I love big human beings that are athletic, that can go out there and make plays on the field. And Darnell Washington is finding a niche. He's finding a role in the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And I'm getting impressed more and more on a weekly basis, because I feel like he can move better, like as his years go on, as he plays more in the NFL, like his athleticism and his movement and his fluidiness is like getting better on a continuous basis. I mean, his rookie year,
he's never covered. Like Aaron, the guy was draping him, and Aaron just throws it where like in his belly, and like Aaron, that guy is never covered, and Aaron Rodgers could put the ball in his little bread box, and the guy's so hard to take down. I mean, I think that's going to be fun. They got to continue to get Warren going in the run game, but I think that was an awesome win for the Steelers. They needed that, and I anticipate that Indianapolis isn't done. They're gonna come back, and Shane Steichen, he's had that offense rolling. The defense has been playing well, so that was a great game. The Vikings beating Detroit was insane to me. I thought that was going to be a statement game for Detroit, and I really underestimated J.J. McCarthy. He played above and beyond where I thought he would play, because I was explaining before the game, he got hurt in week 2 as a first-year player. Okay, now he's been gone for 5 weeks. He hasn't been able to practice it with live bullets, and his competition has been getting refined each week. So he comes back to midseason form, and he's playing against guys that are like, it's not the same when you come back from injury, when you're out. Like it takes you a little, and he played his balls off. I mean, he had some mistakes. He missed some throws, but he also made a bunch of big plays, especially on the 4-minute drive where they had to get the first down, and he hits Naylor. He had the big touchdown run. Like he made plays when his team needed it. He has a lot of things to tighten up, but who better to do that with than Kevin O'Connell? I mean, he's gonna. If anyone can get anything out of a quarterback, it's Kevin O'Connell. He's proven it time in and time again.
He has, and I have not been high on J.J. McCarthy, ever since he got into the NFL. But there's one thing that J.J. McCarthy, he just proved to me that he has, which is the number one trait that you want in the NFL, is he has grit and he has heart. This guy wants to win football games.
Jackson Darty
it doesn't seem like he's the best, quarterback in the NFL with tangibles. But when you got that heart and you got that desire to be the best that you can possibly be and willing to win the game, whatever it takes, he won a national championship at Michigan. That just shows he has whatever it takes, and with his style of play, I didn't really think it was going to transfer, to the NFL. But when you have heart and you have grit like that, that's going to transfer to any phase in life. So JJ McCarthy,
don't be don't
pretty
be
solid performance there. I'm saying, hey, Jules, I didn't say the tangibles were there. I'm just saying so far what I've seen in his wins, he has heart. Sure. He has heart.
Mental toughness and heart. He's got that.
I still couldn't believe they pulled off that win. I mean, Detroit Lions.
How about
they tanked.
Also Brian Flores, and they haven't been able to stop the run. They've been getting ran all over, and they go in and they stop the Detroit Lions, which everyone in the world probably would say that they have a top 5 run game with their two-headed monster Gibb Montgomery. They got stuffed. Okay. Goff was off the spot all day. Goff loves the spot. What's the spot? The spot is 7 yards behind the center. That's where those pocket quarterbacks love to live. Can't have any pressure up the middle of the pocket so they can sit and scan the field like Tom Brady did for 23 or whatever, 28 years. Like, they got a bunch of pressure on him, on Goff, and it made him uncomfortable. And they didn't have a rhythm that we're so accustomed to seeing the Detroit Lions have. They had no rhythm on offense.
And we got the Vikings Ravens next week. And if the Vikings, want to have any chance versus these Ravens, they got to stop the run just like they did versus the Detroit Lions. They got to stop Derrick Henry. They got to stuff him. They got to find a game plan. They got to stop Lamar as well from running the ball. And with Brian Flores, I wouldn't be surprised if they figured out a formula to put them in the situation throughout the game in order to stop them.
Well, I do, I don't want to go too far in the future, but
what's that, Jules?
I mean,
what's the future looking like?
The Ravens have always struggled with blitz zero, and like a lot of those, when you tighten them down, play tight man coverage, and you fucking pressure the hell out of Lamar.
You've been saying that for a while, Jules.
I'm just saying, who loves and lives and dies on it? Brian Flores from Brooklyn. Brian Flores from Brooklyn loves McBlitzy. He loves everyone at the line of scrimmage, drop out, bring them all, play the head game, the mind game. Like, B-Flow loves that stuff, and he'll have exotic stuff. So that's going to be an exciting game to watch next week because, like, you don't know what you don't know with the Ravens. They're kind of in that world right now where they're floating. Are they good? They just beat up on a okay team, but are they not? Because they've been losing a lot. Is the defense back? Aaron Jones for the Vikings also had a big game. He hasn't been around, and that also helped JJ McCarthy.
Jules, have you been looking at your crystal ball?
No, I've been looking at your crystal balls.
Get almost anything you need delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost?
Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get chicken parmesan delivered.
A day at the lake? That's a no. A Philly cheesesteak? That's a yes.
An afternoon stroll? Sorry, no. A burrito bowl? Happily, yes.
What about a day of sunshine? Not happening. A box of fine wines? Yes, that's happening. Delivery on its way.
Okay, how about some clear skies? Nope. Well, then how about some French fries? Yep.
A little escape? No. A delicious bowl of grapes? Yes. Yes, that.
How about a freshly cut lawn? Can't help you there, but barbecued prawns? Order it and it's on its way. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Man.
Last underdog, Robbie. Last underdog. I mean,
We got it was Carolina Panthers. I was never going to suspect the Carolina Panthers to beat the Green Bay Packers. Here's my question. What was the point of trading and having that splashy trade for Micah Parsons just to lose to the Panthers? Can you explain that to me, Jules?
In their defense.
Wild.
In their defense, they're still a young team, which I feel like we've been saying that for the last 5 years.
We've been saying that for 2, 3, 4 years now. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA team. Everyone's been saying, SGA, Young Buck, Chet Holmgren, Young Buck, all that. Well, they were saying that 2 years ago, and then it was okay. They can't say that anymore, and now they won a championship.
That's a great reference.
The Green Bay Packers are like the same as. Same age.
They got to win a Super Bowl if they're the same.
Yeah, to the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they're not playing they've been together too long now. This team has been together 2-3 years now. Like they should be putting it together and know how to win football games together. The chemistry kind of still isn't there all the way.
In their defense, the Panthers aren't that bad.
They're not.
Panthers are 4-3 right now, or 4-4.
I think 5-4.
The Panthers aren't that bad right now. Okay, like Dowdle has been running and toting that thing.
The Panthers are right now like the Atlanta Falcons. You still don't know what you're going to get out of them.
I don't know. I think they play next week. or in 2 weeks. I think the Panthers are. I think they're better than the Atlanta Falcons. Because I don't know. They shouldn't be.
What was the
but
formula?
Dowdle's having a good year.
What was the formula? How did the Panthers even beat the Packers?
They couldn't get the run game going. That's not just on Micah, though. That's everyone. That's on everyone. Nah, I think they couldn't stop the run. Jordan Love, man, he be throwing it up. He has a case of the screw it's. You know what that is? I like to call it the fuck it's. They're like, fuck it, let's just throw it. Fuck it. He threw it into a team meeting a few times, bro. Threw it into a team meeting a few times. We highlighted it in the halftime show at Fox. And then he went and threw an interception in the second half and like the same kind of thing. Like, we can't be doing that. You can't just have the case of fuck it. Nothing's going on. Fuck it. We can't be doing that, and I wanted to give you your flowers. You call out Tucker Kraft last week on National Tight Ends Day, and he flourishes, has a fucking awesome game. And now, that's another thing about this game. They lose Tucker Kraft for the rest of the game. Yeah, that hurts
to see him go down. I think he might be out, for rest of the year. They said possible ACL.
They still have a team. They still have Musgrave. They still have Josh Jacobs. They still got Dobbs, Wicks, Watson, Golden. They got to get Golden going. He's been a first round draft pick. They got to get him going. I think he got banged up in the game. They got to get, the defense has to start playing the way they want, the way they can. But the Packers, they do this a lot. They play with their food when they're eating, when they're eating, they play with their food. I talked about that on the show as well. Like, they play down to people's level. They get bored. They you know what I mean? You can't have that. They lose to the Browns where they're 8.5 points favorites. They lose to the Carolina Panthers. They're 13.5 point favorites. Like, you can't do that. And I understand you're going to throw eggs out there and you're going to throw a bad game out there every once in a while. We all do it. We've all had it. but it can't be collectively. It can't be the whole team. You know what I mean? You got to have someone to dig you out of that. So, young team that we've been saying is young forever needs to learn from this and not let this happen. Okay, they got a tough stretch coming, I think.
It's always going to be a tough stretch for them in that division. I mean, with the Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears, I mean, look what they can do at any given time. You got the Detroit Lions and then the Green Bay Packers. I mean, that's going to be tough, for rest of the year, just being in that division, just even playing just division games. So they got to pick it up. You said it best, Jules. They got to learn from it, and they got to have a guy that steps up, in those situations to not make sure they lose games like the game.
You hope that's your quarterback. Usually, there's plenty of times when we were all kind of in fucking la la land playing against a team that's not very good or a team that you're better than, and the quarterback Brady comes up there and fucking yells at you and says, "Get your fucking head out of your ass. Let's go." You know what I mean? You need someone like that who's gonna get some juice, or it may not even be talking. It may just be making a fucking play.
Is Love capable of being that guy?
You could be that guy different ways. He could be capable of doing it by hitting a 16-yard in cut in 3rd and 8 and progressing through the offense instead of fuck it and throw it up.
Yes. Great.
That's how you know what I mean? So, and he'll learn.
Point.
He'll learn. He's 27 years old. He's young. He's in his third year. He got to get going though, because they got talent.
Stop. They're not young anymore.
All right,
that excuse is over.
Did you like those unis? I liked them. A lot of people are giving them shit. I thought they were kind of tight.
I love throwback unis. I really do. It kind of makes the feel of the game like it's a true football game again. I mean, it's like a hard-nosed game that's going down, because back in the day, football was just hard nosed, anything went, and that's kind of the feel that those uniforms bring out.
I liked them. I know a lot of people hated them, and all right, I think that fuck it, that's like the shit you see in the movies with George Clooney, that old ass movie. You know what I mean?
I'm a fan.
There was that old football movie George Clooney was in where he had the leather helmet and shit. That's the history of the game. It's kind of tight. Week 9, you know what that means? Injury season.
Ugh,
Jesus, man.
Hate injuries.
It's the worst part of the game.
It's the worst part of the game, but it's part of the game like no other game. We already talked about Tucker Kraft. I mean, I love the way Tucker Kraft plays. I really do. He's a complete tight end. That's going to be a huge loss for the Packers, but there was also so many other injuries.
Who's the biggest one to you
NFL.
Right now?
The biggest one I would say.
What's the one that sticks out?
Jaden Daniels. I mean, that dislocation, in his elbow in the blowout loss to Seattle. I mean, that one stung to even just look at. I mean, just the way his kind of elbow bent back, it was gruesome. He was
running too much in that game. They didn't have enough. They didn't have enough weapons. They had nothing going on offense, and he felt desperate to make a play. I felt all game.
Everyone's been saying that. Basically, every analyst, anyone that breaks down football, watches football, everyone's been saying Jaden Daniels been running the ball too much since his rookie year, and he doesn't protect himself enough. It's not like he's, Josh Allen, that looks like a tight end and knocking out defenders and defenders bouncing off. Just Jaden Daniels needs to get down more often and faster and not run the ball as much either. I mean, you got to protect him.
He was in a good pocket for a while last year where he would run, take off, and not get tackled and get out of bounds. I remember 5 or 6 times he'd juke a guy out of bounds and dap the guy up because the guy knew he got juked by Jaden Daniels. I remember that a lot last year. The rhythm's gone when you don't have McLaurin out there, you're not getting any real big plays made by anyone else. You know what I mean? So then it becomes a burden on him to try to run even more. And he's not all there with the hamstring that he got hurt on a sack 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. So your body's already compensating this, it's just not, it hasn't looked good right this year for the Commanders with this injury thing going.
And then on top of it, Luke McCaffrey, one of his teammates, wide receiver, went
Yeah.
out with a broken collarbone as well. That doesn't help out. I mean, the Commanders are decimated in ways on the offensive side of the ball. And you're right. When Jaden Daniels doesn't have his guys, he probably feels like as a young quarterback that he has to, put all the weight on his back and on his shoulders and take over. I love seeing that kid play the game of football. I love the way that he does play. But when you're just that size and you have a history of being injured, it's hard. We want to see him stay healthy. That's going to be a tough blow for the Commanders, and it's going to be a tough rest of the season for them.
I think the biggest one for me, not the biggest, they're all fucking big. They're all big.
They are. All injuries. All injuries are tough.
Joe Alt is going to be very crucial. Gets the ankle again. I think he has to get a quick little fixer-upper surgery, like a scope to tighten that thing down. I think he'll be out 5 weeks, that high ankle sprain. They look like a completely different team when they have Joe Alt. And you saw it. Once he went out, the run game gone. Herbert sacked. Herbert hit. Herbert got to take over. Now, Herbert, he's like Jaden Daniels, where he feels like he has to take over, but he's 6'6", 235 pounds, and he's going to get hurt if he continues this because it's just too much. The worst thing for a body is tackles. The more tackles you get, the more hurt you get. It's just that's how this game is. It's 100%. And you got to try to not take hits, and it's hard because they're winning ball games. And he's doing what he has to do to win the ball games. But those things add up, man. They add up. And I think Joe Alt being hurt, sideline, it's gonna make that team go back to the makeshift what they've been doing the last few weeks to get these wins where, Herbert's got to run around and be Superman, He-Man, or whatever Harbaugh wants to call him. Achilles, the Achilles dude was like yoked. And then all of a sudden you hit that heel. What was it, Achilles, and you hit that heel. He's the biggest, strongest dude ever, and it's done. It doesn't matter how. I just get scared. I see all the beautiful, Dayton Madison beer. We're going to the Lakers game. We're going to the Dodgers game. We're going to the Halloween party. I love it. We just can't get him hit.
Yes, let's protect him. Let's protect him at all costs. Hollywood Herbert. You got to love that name. Hollywood Herbert.
Hey,
the announcers and Hollywood Herbert. There he goes, scrambling out. Hollywood Herbert chucks it down deep. Oh, touchdown, McConkey. Hollywood Herbert does it again. Hollywood Herbert.
Hollywood Herbert's looking up to the box, and Madison Beer's giving him a little kiss face.
Hi, this is Gronk from Dudes on Dudes, and talk about a perfect partnership. I'm here to tell you about protecting your end zone with Dude Wipes. If you're still wiping with toilet paper, you need to listen up. Dude Wipes are a wet, extra large flushable wipe that leave nothing behind in your behind. Because they are wet, and we all know wetter cleans better. Unlike dry wiping with toilet paper, Dude Wipes clear instead of smear. Goodbye, dingleberries. Goodbye, itch and irritation. Plus, if you take Gronk-sized grumpies, or as I like to call them, Gronkies, baby wipes won't do. You need extra big Dude Wipes to handle the job. And they come in different scents and pack sizes, including a single-use, on-the-go pack that you can take wherever you go for that home field advantage. So don't fumble the ball with toilet paper. Stop being an a-hole to your b-hole and start using Dude Wipes. Available on Amazon and major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes. Best clean, pants down.
Kicking has been very far this year. 68-yard record-breaking field goal by Jaguars kicker Cam Little out in Vegas, which desert air is pretty pressured air, I feel.
Yeah, I think there's I'm not 100% sure what the rule change was in the
rule
NFL,
change. They get to have the ball.
Kickers are allowed to, furnish the ball how they want it to be, like way prior to the game. So it's allowing these kickers to absolutely boot the ball when kicking a field goal and absolutely boot it. I mean, there has been just records just being set all over the place for these kickers. And then we have Cam Little, who drilled a 68-yarder just before halftime to get the Jags on the board. And he hit a 70-yarder in preseason as well. And this was the longest field goal ever made in history, was a 70-yarder. But now the 68-yarder is the longest regular season field goal ever made. Cam Little has a gigantic leg. Not a little leg, Jules. A gigantic leg. That's all I know. He can boot that damn ball.
Yeah, man. I bet you all the old kickers are like probably kind of pissed about this.
So what exactly is this rule change that's allowing these kickers to be able to just
use
boot the ball?
Balls. I think they get to use the same balls all year, and like there's no like they get to use the kicking balls and break them in. It used to be you only get an hour before the game with brand new balls to have your ball boys get the balls and get them ready and blow them. You know, you blow them up, you put them in the dryer, you put the mud on them, you put the grass on them. They try to work them out to make them beat up, to make that leather nice and soft. So when they hit it, it balloons the ball, and it gives it a bigger surface. They like the fat ball, so there's more sweet spot to kick. You get them skinny, the skinny balls right out the box. Those are hard, and there's less area to kick it, like sweet spot area. So it's like they're making it's almost like a torpedo bat. Is a torpedo bat back? Is it still there? People still using it? They stopped you. All right. Yeah, it's kind of like that. You get bigger sweet spot almost, I think. Not a balls guy.
Well, I know this teams, they all get their kicking balls at the beginning of the year now, and they can condition and prep them as much as they want. Like you said, in order to be able to kick it that far now, because they're so broken in. Like you said, instead of prior where it was like you get a brand new ball and it was still so firm and it didn't really have that cushion,
broken in,
on the ball, and it wasn't broken in, so it couldn't go as far. Do you think this is good for the game of football that all these kickers are drilling these field goals from this far now, or you think it's bad for the game?
I don't know if it's good or bad yet, but it's definitely changing the strategy.
Too soon. Exactly. It's changing the strategy.
Especially with the new dynamic kickoff. Guys are at the 40 if you get a touchback, or or a 35 and you get two first down and you're in field goal range.
Yeah, exactly. So it's too soon to determine if this is good for the game of football or bad for the game of football. Because imagine you just went down, you're down by 6 points, and you get the ball on your own 10. You drive 90 yards down the field. There was 5 minutes left in the game, and now there's 45 seconds left on the clock. You're up by 1 because you went down and you had that 90-yard touchdown drive. Well, now the team gets it back. That's down by 1, and they just have to go 20 yards only or something, 20, 15 yards. Because they had 2 timeouts left with 45 seconds left, and then they can kick a 70 freaking yard field goal and win the game after that team just worked their butt off to go 90
still
yards.
You still got to execute, snap.
I know,
hold,
but
operation.
Are fans going to like that?
There were still a bunch of kickers that missed PATs. So
yes, all right. I was just putting a scenario out there.
Yeah, I get it. We'll see. Fantasy people like more numbers. You're getting more numbers.
Will he get drug tested today?
Probably.
Yeah, remember Pat McAfee back in the day? He would make a tackle, for the Colts or have an amazing punt, and then the next day he'd be drug tested. And he posted all over the place, what? Yeah, punters aren't allowed to make big hits and big tackles. What's going on here? So, Little probably, expect a drug test at your locker today, buddy.
Definitely. How about this crazy Bears-Bengals game? I feel terrible for the Bengals.
I really do feel terrible for them. And
I feel good for the Chicago Bears too, though.
Yeah, great for them. Another great win for them. They got to stack up as many wins that they can possibly stack up. But Joe Flacco has been becoming my favorite quarterback in the NFL this year, hands down. You know, like
He
his
does this every
excitement
couple
level,
years.
his excitement level is through the absolute roof. Like I love what he's doing. I mean, he threw for 470 yards, 4 touchdowns. In the games prior to that, the Thursday night game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, just how much he's bringing to the game of football, you know, in the 40s is just incredible. And his comments as well, I really loved what he said, is like something about being the only guy at the bar and sitting at the bar and having a drink and just watching the game is one of the greatest pleasures. It was along those lines. You know, you got to respect Joe Flacco, what he's doing. And remember, he has a Super Bowl ring as well with the Baltimore Ravens back in the day.
He brought the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs. I mean, Flack's done some. I think Flack's a Hall of Famer. Flacco's a Hall of Famer.
I think so as well. Like definitely.
Like,
true that.
And Caleb, you know, he had a pretty good game, 20 for 34. I would say Kyle Managi, how do you say his name? Running back, 7th rounder, had a breakout game. He went to Rutgers, had 176 yards. I really feel bad for the players of the Bengals. This isn't their fault. This is the upper. This is how the team's built. Okay, I mean, when you got all your money in offense, you're not going to have anyone on defense, and they're a little banged up on defense as well. And what do you think about guys calling out the defense right in the post game? The post game, you see that?
No, I didn't see it. So what?
Cincinnati I don't want to say his name, but
offensive player called out the defensive players.
Yeah, he says like
what's going on?
Can't get one stop or something like at the media, which you know. I mean, if it's the truth, it's the truth, man. I mean, if it's the truth, it's the truth. I mean, it's not like he's making anything up here or yeah, but
it's
far. Not something. It's not his teammates' fault that they don't have that many playmakers. They don't have, you know, and you know that those guys are probably working their ass off. I mean, unless they're not working their ass off in practice, but
there you go.
You know,
if you're on the offensive side of the ball, you're putting up points like that. The defense is struggling. They're allowing touchdowns every single play, and you're calling them out. You're calling them out. I would say in this situation, the only way I would raise my voice is if those defensive players are showing up to practice on a weekly basis and showing that they give no F's given. Like they're not working hard. They're not trying to get better as players. When you got guys that are working hard, working their ass off, trying to get better as players, you don't really call them out like that at all. Yeah. And you encourage them more and more because eventually they're going to click then. And then they're going to click. But you got guys that are slacking, half-assing. Hell yeah, you call those bitch asses out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only –
But we don't know the situation. Are they
you
working
don't know
hard
the situation. I thought Jamar Chase actually handled it right at the podium. He goes, you know, that's out of my lane. I'm gonna stay in my lane, and that you know. Go. And there was a cutout of hearing him coming off the field saying like, "We need one stop." Like he didn't know he was on camera. I think that's completely different than when you're at your locker or when you just lose the game, the clock hits 0, and you go, "Fuck, we can't get a goddamn stop." That's different than when you're telling everyone. I think those are two different ways of handling it. Now you don't want to be caught saying, "Can we get one fucking stop?" Because you know, like I said, you don't know.
If that's on a hot mic, that's on a hot mic. If that's on a hot mic, that's BS.
Hot mic.
That's BS. You can't blame them at all. Hot mic, you know, that is what it is. Like that shouldn't even be allowed then. You know, the hot mic picking that up. You're in game time. The emotions are flying. But what about Colston Loveland with the breakout game? 6 receptions, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's just a rookie tight end. He made the game-winning touchdown to seal the deal. What was that, 58-yard catch, like a in route, broke a couple tackles, brought it to the house, you know, at the crazy ending of this Bears Cincinnati game. And Colston Loveland, like, he really hasn't been producing the way that he's been supposed to be producing as a top 10 pick at the tight end position. So it's great to see him do what he can possibly do that can boost his confidence throughout the future. And that can actually give, you know, Caleb Williams another weapon that he can rely on from here on out. So we'll see what he does with this game and if he can keep stacking it from here.
But if you look at the box score, this is how Ben Johnson wants his team to probably look. Look, they had to throw it a bunch, and they only threw it 34 times. They had to throw it a bunch, and they only had to throw it 34 times. How many rush yards did they have? 175 by the rookie. That does not look like the box score. That looks like a box score of a Lions team. Let's get the run game going. Have Caleb do his 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 plays of craziness where it'll help you, like the long run to get before the long run right before hitting Loveland for the touchdown in that last drive. Like, let him do that. But like, I thought it was, Ben Johnson's got good things going for this team. These are the games they usually lose, and they've won a few of those.
Yeah, they're rolling right now. The Bears, they're rolling compared to last year.
And they're still they're in the right direction.
Right direction. Yes.
They're still inconsistent as hell, but they're winning games, and that's fucking huge.
Sponsored by Roe. Football players are always ready, whether it's game time or other times. That's the idea behind Roe Sparks, a prescription treatment that's built to help you be your best when it counts the most. See if you qualify at row.co/sparks. Row Sparks features a dual action formula that includes tadalafil. Basically, you're getting the good stuff. The best part, they dissolve under your tongue, so they hit your bloodstream faster and work sooner, in 15 minutes on average after the medication dissolves. Row Sparks helps guys get harder with bigger, thicker erections and have more control in bed. That translates into more satisfaction for their partners. Plus, thanks to the dual action formula, you can now be ready for up to 36 hours. That's a whole weekend, my friend. Just complete an online visit with the healthcare provider to see if it's right for you. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off on your first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. Connect with the provider at row.co/dudes to find out if prescription Row Sparks are right for you. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. For safety information, go to row.co/safety info.
What about Josh Allen dominating the freaking Kansas City Chiefs once again in the regular season? So we're not surprised here, but I am surprised kind of that the Kansas City Chiefs, weren't as competitive in that game as I thought they were going to be. I was telling my friends, and people that follow football, like, I think the Chiefs are the best team in football right now after the last 3 weeks. Once Rashee Rice came back, just the way they've been playing, clicking, Patrick Mahomes being able to spread the ball around. I thought the offense, they were fine. They were back to a high level of play. And then the Buffalo Bills Sunday night, not Sunday night football. It felt like a Sunday night football game because the clocks, got turned back and it was dark out basically the whole game. And it was in Buffalo. So the atmosphere was through the roof, but
like tonight game.
Yeah. Yes. And so huge for the Buffalo Bills, to win that game. It moves Josh Allen to 5-1 all time against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, but it's more about, can he beat him in the playoffs?
Yeah. This is more, I think this is how the Bills want to play the game. Okay.
It is.
The Chiefs couldn't get Kareem Hunt going. Pacheco was out. Okay. They couldn't get anything manufactured in the run game. The Chiefs, I think, were pretty bad on third down, 3 for 13. Okay. They were 2 for 3 on fourth down. So that's 5 for 13, whatever. And they were 2 for 3 in the red area. Okay. You can't run it against the Bills. You're not going to win. That team is designed to play against the pass with a bunch of their safeties. Their defense got after Patrick Mahomes for the first time. Their defense played well. The defense of the Bills played pretty well. And Patrick Mahomes had his worst game of the year. Okay. That pick late is not Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Great players have bad games every once in a while too. Don't you dare for a second think the Chiefs are gone, because the next time these teams meet, they're going to be completely different fucking teams.
Yes.
They're
Yes,
going
it
to be
will
completely different
The
teams.
Chiefs are not done. That's
And
not
the Chiefs will learn from this.
question.
The Chiefs needed this because we were all talking so highly with them, getting Rashee Rice back. This could be a good thing for them. I don't think it's a good thing for the standings and all that stuff, but they're going to be in the dance. They're going to be in the dance. Don't motherfuckers are Freddy Cougar.
100% they're going to be in the dance, Jules. There's no doubt about that. They might not win their division, though, this year. Denver, with that 6-game win streak that they're going on, and the Chargers, they're competitive. They might give them another loss or two. And, the Kansas City Chiefs might not take the division, but they're going to be in the dance, like you said. They're going to be competing.
That's all that matters.
Postseason. Yeah, it is all that matters.
And then anything
really
can
is.
happen. And then anything can happen. But this was great for the Bills to get back on track from a few weeks ago.
And it's the last year being at that stadium for Buffalo, so they got to send these fans away with as many wins as possible at home this year.
And they couldn't have lost to the Patriots and the Chiefs in fucking Old Orchard for the last time.
On primetime games.
They could not.
No,
this was like destiny game. This was destiny game. Josh Allen send the stadium off one more time, kicking the Chiefs' butt in it. In regular season, of course, but that was a great game though. That's always a lights out game to watch. But Mahomes had a couple mislaps. That 4-minute pick in the fourth where he threw it up. He got a little desperate. He was starting to feel the heat a little. He was getting hit a bunch. Joey Bosa had a sack. You're getting pressure without Ed Oliver. Defense was playing good. That was a fun game, and I can't wait to see him play again.
Really fun game. If you want to beat the Chiefs, Jules, you got to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. You got to be able to run the ball and run the clock down and keep him off the field, because the guy is, a magician out there. Yes, it wasn't his best game of his career, but he's going to be back like no other. But what about let's go from Buffalo all the way across the country to Seattle real quick. What about Sam Darnold? An incredible 2 years he has had last year with the Minnesota Vikings and now with the Seattle Seahawks. He was 13 for 13 in the first half for over 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, and that's all they needed. They didn't even need to go out there in the second half and perform. They were running out the clock from the first second the clock, ticked in the third quarter. I mean, tip your hat to Sam Darnold for what he's doing. I could tell you this guy would never be like the cover of Madden or the face of the NFL, because his aura, that he brings to the table. He's more of a mellow guy. It's not like he's a hoorah type of guy and getting everyone going, but that shit doesn't matter. It's how you play on the football field, and he's absolutely dominating right now.
He's grown up, Rob. Okay, he did used to have a little aura when he was back in New York getting kissing disease mono out at fucking the clubs in New York.
Right.
Remember he got mono and to miss a month? No, this has been
everyone
been
grows
awesome
up.
watching.
You're right. Everyone grows up. I grew up, Jules. You grew up.
I mean, the crazy thing about Sam Darnold, I think he's 27 years old. He feels like he's been in the league forever.
Sam Darnold's only 27 years old.
28 years old. He just turned it.
I felt like Sam, like I said, he's so mature now and everything. I felt like he was like 32 years old minimum. He's only 28 years old.
He got a lot of good years left in him. He's transitioned to a third team, and he's making a great impact. Mike McDonald and the defense has got things going. Jackson Smith and Jigba is a fucking star. He's a star. Everyone was scratching their head when they let DK Metcalf get traded away, and I was sitting there like, this guy, Jackson, man, because he had like 80 catches, and I think Metcalf had less or something. I was like, I think they're going to be all right. He's been a rock star. Defense is really good. Like they're tough. They're a tough team. That NFC West is going to be fun to watch at the end. And also got to tap in. That was terrible. We already talked about a little bit Jaden Daniels. Let's get into the Chillest Dude of the Week, brought to you by our favorite beer, Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/dudes.
Cheers, Jules.
Cheers,
Coors Light, cold as the Rockies, and celebrate responsibly out there, folks. What do we got going on with the Chillest Dude of the Week? Presented by Coors Light, Jules. What's going on this week? Let's hear it.
The trade deadline is almost here. Like tonight. Like Tuesday
tomorrow.
night, which is
tomorrow.
Tonight.
Like, we're talking like it's here now. It's
It's
going
now.
down. The trade deadline's going down. It's now. If you're going to make a move, you're going to make it right now. You're going to be on that phone until 3 a.m. You're only getting an hour or two of sleep if
I think
you're a
it's
GM
4
tonight.
Eastern time, but we're going to be doing a special trade deadline version of Pump the Brakes. What are the rules, Rob?
All right, here's the rules, Jules. If we disagree with the statement or it's too soon to tell, we will say pump the brakes. And if we agree with the statement and we're buying the hype, we will say floor it. And if we have no freaking idea, we will say keep it in neutral. We just chilling right here, boys.
All right. So let's start. The New England Patriots will make a splashy trade.
Oh, well, I'm first here, Jules. That was me going from first gear all the way to fifth gear. I'm flooring that bad boy. I believe the New England Patriots can upgrade their team. They still have the most salary cap space, this year on this out of all teams, in the NFL. So they can go out, make a splashy trade for a big player. They need to upgrade in some areas, just overall to become a better football team. They got the space to do it. They already shipped out 2 guys, and I believe it made their team better because Coach Vrabel wouldn't ship out guys if it's not going to make their team better overall. So I think they make a splashy trade by that 4 p.m. deadline, Eastern, that is, too.
Yeah, I think they'll make a trade, but I don't know if it'll be splashy. It's getting kind of close. We'll see. I'm putting it in neutral. Keep it in neutral for me.
I
want
I
them
don't
to,
know
but
who
you never get a
I want them
splashy
to
trade.
as well. I want them to. The fans want them to. Like, everyone in New England wants them to. I'm hoping it gets done. It'll make them that much more exciting this year because they're exciting already right now, Jules.
Who would you
all
get?
over the place. I'm actually not sure. I'm really not. I mean, I would love to see them grab like Chris Olave. They're saying he possibly might go to the Buffalo Bills, but like number one, like a true number one. The wide receivers are doing an excellent job for what they have right now. But like, I'm talking like a true number one that's in their prime would be a pretty wild move to make.
Yeah, who do they got? How are they doing with sacks? Are they making? You can never have enough pass rushers.
There you go as well. That's true.
Hendrickson?
Go out and get a pass rusher. But who's it? Yeah, Hendrickson. But are they going to trade him? Like, I mean,
don't
they
know if
only
they wanna
sacked
pay him
Penix
next year.
Penix once last week. So any help, on the defensive line, to keep creating pressure is always huge, to have for a defensive unit. So
Myles Garrett would be insane if they could somehow splash that around.
yeah, no, Myles Garrett ain't going nowhere. That's the face of the Cleveland Browns. Even if they're losing, they still have production because of Myles Garrett.
Would you give 2 first rounders for him?
You would have to. I mean, right? A first rounder or like 4 second rounders with 1 first rounder then. Like, if you only give up 1. But no, but it just doesn't make sense.
That would be insane if they got Myles Garrett. That'd be so cool.
It just, yeah, it would be.
That'd be fun.
All right, we got up next. Does A.J. Brown... All right, up next, we got A.J. Brown staying with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm going to put that in neutral also. They just got Phillips from Miami, Philadelphia, pass rusher. How did they win the Super Bowl last year? Best offense and best defense line. They had great weapons. But I also think that I don't think Howie's going to just let A.J. Brown go. You know what I mean? I think he'll figure a way out to make it work. And there'll be a bunch of bullshit and turmoil here and there, but they'll win games. He's too good of a player, I think.
Yes, I'm going to put it in neutral as well, even though that's the boring speculation, Julian. And the reason why is because the Philadelphia Eagles have been saying for a long time that A.J. Brown isn't going anywhere. It's only A.J. Brown creating that hype, that he possibly wants to maybe get traded by the things he puts on social media and stuff, which rightfully so, because he wants targets. He's a wide receiver. You want targets, and he makes plays when the ball's thrown to him. But when the team, there's nothing leaking out to the media that the team wants to trade him, then I think that's a sign that the team's not going to trade him, because it usually leaks out eventually that a team is looking to actively trade AJ Brown, and that has never been the case one bit. So I'm staying with neutral, and they're going to need him in the long run. They're going to need him like they needed him in the Super Bowl last year. They're going to need him for the playoffs this year as well. When things get tight, they got to make a play in the pass game. Jalen Hurts needs to be able to launch that ball up to a number one guy like AJ Brown.
And Philly's got a secret weapon. They got Big Dom. Big Dom will make shit all right. Big Dom.
Yes.
I hung out with him. He keeps shit in. He bought me a cheesesteak.
And this is why I like him. He bought you a cheesesteak, and then you brought me half of that cheesesteak to let me try, Jules. So I appreciate you and Big Dom for doing that. Him buying it, and then you giving me half.
Big Dom brought a cheesesteak to Scattaboo in the hospital when he was getting surgery. Like Big Dom, if anyone's gonna figure it out to keep AJ Brown good, I got faith Big Dom will. All right, next one. The 2025 trade deadline will have more trades than the 2024 deadline did, which that last year they had 18.
I'm pumping up brakes. There will not be more than 18 trades. There's only 24 hours left or so in this free agency, not free agency, but in this free agency of being able to trade guys.
The trade deadline
right now. The trade deadline, before the trade deadline that goes down. But here's the reason why, there's been so much speculation that there's going to be so many trades. And when there's that much speculation, it just never happens, Jules. It's just hype to get everyone interested. It's just hype to have all these hypotheticals. Is that the word I'm looking for, right?
Hypothetical. Yeah, I got it.
Hypotheticals. Wow. One of the biggest words I've ever used, Jules. And I got it spot on that I was second guessing myself. But so it's just the creation of the buzz of all these trades that I don't think any trades really go down because of that reason. And there's going to be some, but I don't think there's going to be, a handful that go down like everyone's speculating.
Okay. What's the next
unless,
one, Rob?
Jules, unless if all these GMs start, drinking some Coors Light and get a little tipsy and start making some brave moves, well, that's a different story. So it's all about if you're drinking a Coors Light or not, if you're going to make some trades. If you're drinking one, yes, you're going to make some trades. If you're not,
chill trades.
You're going to be lame, and you're not going to have, the bravery to, pull the trigger and get that guy that you want and give up what you need to get him. Let's go on to the next one, Jules. Jalen Waddle will not be a Miami Dolphin in week 10.
They wouldn't trade in the division, and they are and the Bills already have kind of a guy like that with what's Shakir.
Yeah, maybe possibly Pittsburgh, maybe the Giants.
Pittsburgh
they kind of need
good.
a wide receiver.
I think Pittsburgh.
Yeah, New England possibly.
Pittsburgh could
Buffalo,
get him
small chance. I know it's
with
division,
Aaron Rodgers and DK.
Pittsburgh makes the most sense because it's not the division. Aaron Rodgers probably his last year playing the game. I mean, Miami has nothing to do with Pittsburgh at all. So it's kind of like, oh, all right, we're sending him to Pittsburgh. Like that doesn't hurt if he dominates. It's not like they're in the same division facing each other. So I'm actually pumping the brakes, though, Jules. I like what you said. I'm pumping the brakes because the Dolphins said everyone's up for trades besides Jalen Waddle. So they must see. They said that. I'm pretty sure I read that, unless if I was dreaming. I'm pretty sure that was the case. But they must see something in Waddle that they can build around and build a future with him being there. And he has a lot left in the tank.
That's a rough place to be over in Miami right now. I would say Miami's there. Tennessee's probably in that same category. I want to floor it. Floor it. Fire sale. Okay, they gotta reboot. Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete. They got to do when your Xbox is like, they got the Ring of Death right now from the old Xbox. Remember the Ring of Death?
Oh, yeah. That was when your ring lit up, and that means that your Xbox was frozen or over fried or something.
Yeah,
that was the worst feeling ever. Worst feeling ever.
And you had to wrap it in like a towel, and it would work again.
Yeah.
They ain't got no towels down there. They got they got a new Xbox.
Yeah.
Let's get new Xboxes.
Jules,
I feel
great
bad.
Comparison.
But look,
great.
They look bad.
Comparison there.
It's bad. Last one. Yeah, the Ring of Fire. Oh my God.
All right, let's hear it, Jules. What's the last one, man? Let's hear it.
The Cowboys will not complete a big name trade.
Oh, I mean, they did at the beginning of the season, but that doesn't consider a trade before the trade deadline. I mean, the Cowboys, I'm pumping the brakes. I don't think they will. I mean, they don't need anyone on the offensive side of the ball. And what defensive players out there are available in order to grab? Yeah, Crosby from the Raiders would be great, but I don't think they're giving him up.
They're not giving him up. He ain't going
They're
nowhere.
not giving him up. They already would have. They already would have if they're going to give him up. Myles Garrett ain't going down to the Cowboys, but that would be like unbelievable, unbelievable for NFL.
You had Micah Parsons
eyes to see. They had Micah Parsons. They traded him. I don't think they make another trade. They already made a splashy trade. They got rid of Micah Parsons. I think the Cowboys just stay where they are right now.
No, he didn't. Did Jerry Jones call Tom for Max Crosby? Hey, Tom, you think I can get Max Crosby?
You sound like Tom. You got to be more like Jerry Jones there, Jules. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Tommy boy, how you doing over there? Doing great. See, I don't have good. I don't have. You're doing good. I'm doing real.
There we go. There we go. There we go. That one was pretty decent right there, Jules. I don't want to role play anyone. I can't imitate really anyone.
Yeah,
I gotta really be on fire. You're really good at it.
Howie Roseman. I bet you Howie talks like this.
Yeah. That's good. Elliot, I like that one right there. Yeah.
You give me a first. Yeah. How you doing, Elliot? You give me a first, and you give me that booty kid. I'll give you AJ Brown.
Howie, you always looking for booty.
Well, let's pump the brakes on that. And that was the Chillest Dude of the week. Thanks to our favorite beer, Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/dudes and always celebrate responsibly. That was fun. Good little chill week. But
yeah, that was real fun, Jules. It's always fun chatting up with you, talking football. It gets me ready for the whole week, man. It keeps me, up to date with everything going on. So I appreciate you, buddy. And I know you pay attention to all the games way more than I pay attention.
You pay attention. Don't let
I was getting a haircut
yesterday. Trick you. Don't let Rob try to trick you. He
tries to downplay everything. I like to play the humble card. Yeah.
Before we wrap it up, though,
don't give out my secret. I'm gonna come and freaking sword you with this freaking sword.
What is that?
Right
a fucking sword? You have a sword?
It was when I was captain of the crew. Yeah, it's a real sword. I was captain of the crew, and this is when I was went to the Buccaneers game on Monday Night Football last year, and you take the sword and you wave it. It's a real sword, baby. It's legit.
Man, it's really you got legit. Sword. I'm so jealous. Who just pull? I want like a nunchuck if you pull out a sword.
Yeah, too bad.
Well, before we wrap it up, I want to ask, how was the fucking Ohio State? You were awesome on the show.
Oh, thank you, man. It was so fun. I hosted Big Noon. Yes, Big Noon kickoff. I'm doing two of them this year. That was actually the first one I did. Ohio State, Penn State at Ohio State, #1 team, Ohio State in the country. And then I'm doing Ohio State versus Michigan in Ann Arbor, which is going to be phenomenal. That's going to be popping big time. But it was so much fun. It was kind of like I was in my element. It'll be huge. I was in my element, took my shirt off with the shirtless craze going on in college football. Just everything, just overall. Just was fun in the competitions that we do, Gronk spiking pumpkins. It was just so fun, and I'm excited about hosting it again in Ann Arbor. And what was really cool was recreating the pick from 19 years ago. I went on a recruiting visit to Ohio State. Ohio State was a top 4 school, when I was coming out of high school for me to go to. Love Ohio State, love the people there. I feel like I could have definitely have fit in. I could have been, a Buckeye. I feel like those are my type of people. But just overall, in the end, Arizona was the best fit for me. But I still love Ohio State University. I took a visit there. I loved everything about it, their campus, their locker rooms, their facilities, the people, the fans, the stadium. But just to recreate that picture when I was a little bit, strung out on no sleep at the game 19 years ago with Jeff, who was in the background of the picture right there. Yes, right there. That was a really, really cool moment to come together 19 years later and finally meet the kid in the background who was working for the news at the time, Jules. And now, speaking of me at Ohio State, I know you're a California guy. What about those Dodgers, man, winning the World Series? They're having their parade today. I want to say best World Series I've ever seen in my life. Baseball is back. It was probably one of the best series in all of sports, including NHL, NBA that I've seen in the last 5 years. And are the Dodgers ruining baseball? Yes. But did the Dodgers bring baseball back? Yes. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that was you hit it on the head. That was a fucking entertaining series. The overtime. Before we leave, we got to give a shout out to friend of the pod, Kyle Larson, on winning the NASCAR Cup. This is his second NASCAR Cup. What an objective.
Kyle Larson, congratulations, my boy.
Well, that's been another episode of Dudes on Dudes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Comment a dude you want us to do. And remember, rate and review.
And call in and ask us a question on the chill line at 561-203-5789. And remember to follow Dudes on Dudes on YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Snapchat. We will see you all next week. And Dudes on Dudes is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.